everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums, and I have a quick project share for you. I made a junk journal using Simple Stories Barry Fields collection. I had this left over from, I think it was from a retreat. I never had used it, so I decided to make sort of a junk journal because this collection sort of lended itself to that. So the album measures at 6¼ by 6¾ with about a 2-inch spine. There is a lot in here, and there's a lot of the foam letters, and I think that's what makes it super chunky, or foam words. So here's some of the foam words along with some of the elements just layered up on the front. I did use an eyelet and tied some ribbon. This is checkered ribbon from my stash, and the red in here is from my scrap cabin on Etsy. I saw a project, it was using a baby paper, and it was Simple Stories or Echo Park, I can't remember, but they did have a free tutorial. I downloaded the tutorial, had a little problems figuring out exactly what they were trying to say, so I ended up really basically doing my own thing, but the idea for this came from that. I'll put that in the description box once I look it up and see. So I fussy cut some of the elements, and this could be a little tuck spot here. I really didn't have anything large to tuck in there, but you could put something in there. Most of the paper is from Barry Fields, but this paper was from my stash. I think it's a Graphic 45 paper, but I just wanted to supplement what I had to make sure I didn't run out. This is a 4x6 cut apart. I just used the half sheet to start the album because I thought strawberries in a jar would be perfect. That's foam, that's a chipboard element, and then inside we've got a little side loading pocket, and I use these tags throughout the whole album. More of the foam letters, a 4x4 cut apart layered on a couple of pieces of paper, and I left it open on the side and added a couple of those tags. This page is folded down and just glued at the sides before I bound it with the cinch. And then we've got room here for a 4x4 cut apart, as well as I have a little paper clip. So again, that's one of the foam letters, and so is that. This is a chipboard element, just layered on some paper, and that opens up to make another little side loading pocket. Again, that's the G45 paper, but it coordinated real nice with that. Now, this is a chipboard frame. I left it open. I used some dimensional adhesives on 3 sides. That's some ephemera, but it's open so you can still add a photo to it. That is one of the brads, but it's a brad that's not a brad. You know what I mean? It doesn't have the legs. It's a sticky piece. Here's room for a photo, and I have just a couple of the cut aparts there to give you room to journal or add a photo or whatever you feel like doing. So here again is not a full-size sheet, a 4x6 sheet, and there is a cut apart, and then that opens, or that folds over, and there's another cut apart, and here is another side loading pocket. I just put the word sunshine on there just to add a little pizzazz to that. All right, and here I just glued on some ephemera on the sides, so we have just a little tuck spot there. And here I have a 4x4 cut apart. Actually, it's 2 cut aparts. I just folded it in half to give you a little folder that just sits right there. And then this comes up from the top. Here is another chipboard frame with another piece that comes up so you can add a photo to there or journal inside, and just a little cut apart just tucks in there. Here is again another tuck spot with a layered tag. I just cut it down, added some ribbon and a couple of the elements, and that just goes right there. And on this side it says hey lovely, again a couple more elements layered here, and same there on this pocket. And there's a bunch of things in this pocket. Just a scrap of the paper. Here is another cut apart. another 2x2 cut apart, and some ephemera. So you could use that if you added photos anywhere, or just a fun little thing to have in the pocket. More of the foam letters and chipboard. Here's a little tuck spot. I liked this truck, so I added it in there, and it says I pick you. And just a couple more things. This was from a totally different collection, but I sort of liked how it matched with the berries over here. I loved the images of the berries. Isn't that beautiful? So this was a chipboard element. I just glued it down on the bottom and made it to be a little tuck spot. And then the final page, this is a large pocket with a couple of elements in there and lots of ephemera layered up on the back of this page. Now this one is glued onto the book. Here is another chipboard element and a 2x2 cut apart. This is the part that I followed in the tutorial that I really wasn't nuts about, but you know what, it works out okay. A couple of tags just tucked into the side there. You could put a photo there or do some journaling if you wanted to. And then again, there's more ribbon there on the back. I'll close it this way. That is the side. I used some paper from my stash, and that is it. You won't find this in my Etsy shop. I had put it in my Etsy shop before I did the video, and it's already sold. But that's a hint to you. Every once in a while, go check out the Etsy shop. If you favored it, you'll get a notice from Etsy telling you when new things come into the shop, so you can have first dibs on things that may not even be on a video. But anyhow, I wanted to show that to you. I hope you enjoyed this walkthrough. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fabulous day.